How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is RuffledRowlit, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. We got some crazy stuff to talk about today, guys, so let's get right into it. First things first, according to Centro, which this information isn't from Centro themselves, it's other people who have found it, but it's the easiest way for me to actually present the information to you. So, what they are saying here, though, is that Pokemon Legends EA, actually, you know what, shout out to my boy Toyoko for sending this information to me. Actually, shout out to him. But he basically, what it says is, Pokemon Legends EA was briefly dated with a release date of August 15th, 2025 on Amazon UK. However, we believe it was just an error, already changed back. Also, current Nintendo releases are on Thursdays, and this was on the 15th of August. Now, if you look up the 15th of August, specifically, 15th of August of 2025 is a Friday, which he can say whatever he wants, but a Pokemon game releasing on a Friday is not that crazy. Like, let's just for fun, look up every single Pokemon game release. Like, every Pokemon game release, you know, in order. So if we look up the games that have been released by the Pokemon company, right, and just look them up, you've got, like, you know, the years for the most part. But if you just scroll down here, let's see, dates. Here we go. So we're going to be starting off from the top here. So, I mean, you know, if we look at red and green, it's maybe not, like, fair to look at the oldest games. But if we start from, like, let's say, you know, around, I want to say Diamond and Pearl era, like that range, is when you're going to start seeing a little bit more consistency in the actual, you know, times and all that. So I think we go down here to about X and Y. So that released on October 12th. In 2013, right? So if we look up that day, it was specifically, I think that day was it a Thursday or a Friday? Because October 3rd, let's see, of the week, it was a Saturday. So there you go. Already back then, you had a game release practically on a Saturday, right? So if we go scroll a bit further up, let's look at more recent games in this case. So Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon was November 17th, you know, like, specifically November 17th in 2017, and that was on a Friday. There you go. It was a Friday. So again, what he's saying here about, like, or, you know, like, also current Nintendo releases are on Thursdays doesn't mean anything, okay? Like, it's weird. Game Freak releases their shit a little bit differently. They've always been a little different. And somebody even calls him out and says Nintendo relies on Thursdays, Game Freak releases Fridays. Say incorrect. Nintendo changed that last year. But just because they did it differently one time does not mean that they permanently are doing it differently, okay? Like, that doesn't prove shit. I'm just saying, okay? It doesn't prove anything. Sure, maybe, like, if you look here at, like, Scarlet and Violet, and when those released, like, Scarlet and Violet, let's see, when was that? That was a Friday! That was also a Friday, so what's that supposed to mean, okay? Just because Nintendo does it doesn't mean that Game Freak does it. Keep in mind, Game Freak and Nintendo, two different things, okay? Like, two very different things. So that's pretty much that in terms of that piece of information. I don't really know what else I can say about it besides, let's go, baby. We might have the actual release date of this thing actually in our hands now, which is kind of nuts, okay? It's kind of nuts to even think about that we might have some genuine Pokemon information on our hands. But again, there's still some time to go before we will know if this is actually legit, okay? There's still some time, okay, guys? Just chill. There's still some time to go. But nonetheless, though, it is still a big piece of information because if it is releasing in August, that means we have a clean, like, what, 8 months to go until this game comes out? Like, a clean 8 months, basically, which is a little bit further away than people would have speculated. Again, this is not confirmed. Keep in mind, Central could be 100% right, and this could be totally bullshit. And to be honest, even at first, I thought it was BS, but it's a very specific date to give out, okay? It's a very specific date to have it, like, release August 15th on these, like, listings. And as pointed out by my friend Toyoko, he says, not a single accidental Amazon listing has ever been wrong in the end. I looked it up, ha ha ha. And he says, them creating the hidden listing in their algorithm also means the game is finished and ready for production, or being produced already. Which is a fair point. This is, like, usually these listings, the only time these listings are kind of pointless is when they show you the default release date being, like, the 31st of December, which is the end of a year, because that's just, like, the default thing they put into the system before they actually have a release date. So, internally, Amazon and I guess any really, like, retailers may have already received their actual, like, the you know, the data for this. They may have already received, like, their stocking data, like, the data for, like, you know, how much they need for stock, shipment, all that kind of stuff. That may have already gone through the system, and they already have to type it in manually into the system okay, this product should not be shipped out prior to this date, right? Think about it logically here. You're not going to put that date to like the 31st of December in the system if the actual release date is XYZ, right? But it's in the same way, you're going to put the actual date, but I guess they just pushed it out too early. Like, they just pushed this information out way too early, and apparently 400 plus people already bought it in the past month, which is kind of a weird thing. I don't know if that's an actual image from the genuine like post and for the genuine like listing, because it's just a bit weird. It's a bit odd if that would be the case. Like, I don't know what the deal is there, but this was a genuine thing that came out. So that is at least something we know for a fact. And genuinely speaking, it is highly possible this game could come out in August, because August is a decent amount of time where it's far enough away that it will keep people invested and excited, and it's not going to conflate around the same time of the Switch 2 like release and all that, because there'll be enough time for the Switch 2 kind of do its own thing, which of course I know it's two different aspects that we're talking about here, but it will basically give them enough time to do whatever else they need with the game, prepare another patch for the game, whatever else you want to think about. All that will be able to be prepared ahead of time, and they'll be able to get it out there. And on top of that, the game itself will be more ready, right? There's just more than enough time to get everything ready and sorted and all that kind of stuff, which, hey, I'm gonna be real with you. I am so excited that we even have the idea of when this thing could come out. And August is pretty far away. I'm not gonna lie. It's over half a year away. I was ready for like a May, June release date. August is pushing it for me, but you know what? It's fine. And August also wouldn't be that crazy to believe. Again, highly possible this isn't real. Please keep that in mind. Highly possible this is all just, you know, a mishap and an F-up and an error by some employee at Amazon UK, or just an employee that's been handling, you know, the stocking and like actually like, you know, the handling of this kind of data in the background. Could be definitely a F-up, okay? Like 100%. But it's way more specific than usual. Usually, it's way more like, oh, end of the year or 31st of December, and that's just a temporary placeholder. This is a bit of a weird one, a very specific, you know, August 15th. Because remember, Pokemon always usually releases their shit at the end of the week. Friday, Thursday, that's the time frame. I know he says here that Nintendo only does it on Thursdays since last year or whatever, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the same for Pokemon. That doesn't confirm anything, because Pokemon, if you literally look at the actual proof here, you literally just look at the original games here, everything they've released, and you'll notice it's usually on Fridays. I mean, for the love of God, you can literally just look at Scarlet and Violet, like in 2022, right? Literally came out on a Friday. And I mean, you could say something else, maybe like, I don't know, Pokemon like Scarlet, Violet, you know, DLC release dates, right? Like, when did those come out? So the 14th of December was for like a Thursday for part 2, I think, and part 1 was on the 13th of September, right? Which are DLCs. So you could argue, hey, yep, they didn't do it there, but they did, because September 2023. So we're looking at the DLC. Sorry, we're not looking at last year. We're looking at the year before that. So we have to go back even further. So let's see. December 14th was a Thursday, and then December. What was it like? September the what is it? Like 13th wasn't a Wednesday. Okay, so. You know what I mean? The day can be anything. So like, it doesn't mean anything just because this is on a Friday. Fridays are the standard usual day that they have done for main Pokemon releases. So it doesn't change anything. If anything, it makes it even more realistic that this will be the actual date. That's all I'm going to say about that stuff, because this is just massive. I'm so excited. I really hope this is the actual release date. I really hope so, but we'll have to wait and see. However, on the other hand, we do have some other stuff to talk about, which is to do with Nintendo and all that kind of stuff. So let's take a look at this. So apparently, according to Light, saying that Nintendo Japan has changed the banner into Mario and Luigi with a white background. Now, I know this might seem like nothing. It's just, who cares? It's the banner on Twitter. Well, apparently, the same one they used to announce the Nintendo Switch in October 2016. So apparently, this is something they already did before. We already know this month, because keep in mind, the Switch 2 has already leaked to hell and beyond, okay? Everybody already knows about the Switch 2. You've already seen it, but we just need an official announcement, official reveal, an official showcasing of the actual console from the people that are going to be releasing it, and not from Twitter posts, okay? But this is interesting because, according again to Light, this is something they already did back in October 2016, which would mean that, hey, we got something here. There is something happening. They are preparing for an announcement. Now, it may not happen today, because we're already past the time frame when they announce stuff today. Like, we're already way past that point. At least I think so. I don't think there's really like a chance of them announcing anything further right now in this moment. So there's nothing to say in that regard, but it's definitely a possibility we might get something, you know, announced this next week. Like next week, stay tuned. Stay on the internet because there might be a massive Nintendo Direct announcement and a Switch 2 reveal officially. And it makes sense, right? Because now a CES, like the Consumer Electronics, you know, like Expo or whatever, the big like event where all the like big tech companies are showing off their latest products for the year. That is about to end, I think, like this week. This like it was for this week, right? From like I think from Tuesday until whatever. It's been running. So CES is about to end this coming week, which means it's time to, you know, that's over, which means it's about time for Nintendo to actually show their shit, because they like to do their stuff separate from everyone else. They don't like to be involved with all the pesky other companies. They like to be on their own, and it's about time to them to show that. So that would be perfect. But also, this is something I have on another tab over here, but we might as well bring it up while we're at it, which is that the next Pokemon TCG set has officially been announced. This is set is called Journey Together and features the return of the Trainers Pokemon and is due to release on March 28th of 2025. So like 1 month exactly or so after the Pokemon Presents or Pokemon Day, which is pretty neat. And yeah, you guys can already see you got like some, you know, you got a little bit of Gen 5, a little bit of Gen 8, a little bit of Gen 6, you know, a little bit Gen 7. Actually, no, Gen 6, Gen 7. But yeah, basically a bunch of trainers and their Pokemon. It's a cool looking set. Beyond that, though, we have had like a bunch of updates for other stuff, like, for example, TCG Pocket. There's been some stuff in regards to that. You know, for example, Pokemon TCG will be translated to Latin American Spanish, which is, I guess, if you're a TCG fan in Latin America, you might be very happy about that. If you're excited about it. And they're going to be starting, I think, from the latest sets, specifically the Scarlet and Violet Journey Together set. They're going to be actually making specific sets for that part of the world. So you got to be excited if you're from Latin America, right? But let's move on to some other leak-related stuff. So, and again, it's another mess up, I think, by another retailer. Allegedly, Switch 2 items are starting to show up in GameStop's system. Now, we can't be that far away from an official reveal. Source, Pori Leaks. So shout out to my boys at Pori Leaks, okay, for keeping it up. But apparently, you guys can see right here, this is the internal. I think it might be internal. I could be wrong, but this is basically the search page of specifically GameStop. And it turns out that if you search up Switch 2, you actually get a response on it. You get a Switch 2 EXP micro SD card, 250 gigs Australian, I'm guessing, AUS, Australian, I'm assuming, and then Switch 2 Express micro SD card, 256 gig, and then a Switch 2 Express micro SD card, 512 gigabytes, and then a Joy-Con charger grip for Switch 2 Australian, I think, again. So yes, you already have 5 items, which are all like attachments and or extras, accessories of sorts, right? I guess if you want to call an SD card an accessory, that's what it would be. In this case, the charger grips. Same thing there. They're all being listed, which, speaking of which, by the way, man, they really charge a lot for, like, the Switch or the Nintendo-themed SD cards. Like, that shit's, I don't know, man, $85 for a 512 gig SD card. You can get, like, a 12 gig one from, like, Samsung. 512 gig one from Samsung for, like, $12. Like an official one. Not some off-brand weird shit, but like a genuine one. Because that's what I've got in this bad boy right here. That's exactly what I've got. And I got 2 of those things. So you can get that for, like, third of the price of one of these things. It's besides the point. But basically, this again just proves this whole point of there is shit happening. And apparently that's not all. Another picture with more Switch 2 items, and this one comes from Reddit right here. Switch 2 SKUs found in the system today, and then there's a second picture specifically showing a Switch 2 carry case, again AUS, I'm assuming it's Australian, I could be wrong, it could be something totally unrelated, I am just a dum-dum. Actually, you know what I think about it? Does GameStop still even operate in Australia? I don't even know if they do. But either way, so Switch 2 Deluxe Gaming Case, BTB. Switch 2 Deluxe Gaming Case, BTB AUS. And then a Switch 2, again, the micro SD card, 1 terabyte. Oh, shit. Okay, they want $150 for that? Okay. Well, I mean, to be fair, even the 1 terabyte cards, even from, like, Even the off-brand ones are expensive, but the on-brand ones are usually, they are pretty expensive, to be fair. So, you know, it's not that crazy. Zero in stock, though. And then same thing with the rest of the stuff. Again, Switch Express micro SD card, 1 terabyte. Again, a Switch 2 tempered glass as well. So you got a lot of shit going on here, okay? You got a lot of stuff happening. I'm gonna be real with you. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting situation right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's an interesting time right now when it comes to Nintendo stuff. But you want to know the best part? It doesn't end there. There is even more stuff to talk about. So we do have, of course, as we already spoke about this a second ago, you know, the whole PLZA on Friday, 15th of August, 2025, reporting from the UK Amazon account. As per default, should say the 31st of December, 25. Game has no date, no release date. Again, we have some other images showing here what that looked like. Guys, see, this item will be released on August 15, 2025. Pre-order now. Dispatch from Amazon, sold by Amazon, which means Amazon added it on there. Amazon put it on their actual website. This wasn't done by a third party to make a fake listing or some shit. This was genuinely from them, which, again, emphasize this point. It's a weird thing to do this. It's a weird thing that this would be in there, but it's there nonetheless. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's a crazy time. It's a crazy time. But here is something else, guys. There's a listing, a last chance to check out every Nintendo Switch 2 leak so that you tell your friends, I told you so, when it comes out this week. And here is what we know. So, we start off with, of course, the render of what it looks like. I don't know who this render is from, so I do apologize. I can't credit it because this person doesn't list who did it. We also have a built-in community in Switch 2. So this is a big thing I want to talk about. And there's a whole post about this. But apparently, there's going to be a new TikTok-styled built-in feature, like a social media made by Nintendo inside the Nintendo Switch 2 that specifically allows you to post videos. So here's what it actually says. And this is from Nintengod, who says, a new Switch 2 leak reveals revamped Switch OS with a built-in TikTok-style social media app called Vidmeo. Okay. I'll let that slide, Nintendo. Switch 2 users will be able to make posts, post screenshots and recorded videos, create communities, and direct message. I have a feeling that's going to open up a lot of flood doors for a lot of creeps. That's why they usually limit, Nintendo always limited how much you could type to other people because it always opens up the door for creeps. So I really hope they limit that shit because a lot of people who play like this console are of the younger generations, and I don't want those people to be exposed to all the weirdo shit that's out there, especially because, you know, some weirdos were going to use that shit. So hopefully they keep that shit limited and they don't allow, like, you know, like direct message communication unless you, like, you know, prove your age and shit like that. Then they say Nintendo Switch 2 OS has animated backgrounds. Hell yeah, brother, let's go. Thank you. Okay, you know what? That would be great, man, because I don't know, dude. This thing doesn't really have a lot of fun customization for, like, the backgrounds and the menus and shit. I do hope they do a lot more with it this time around. Apparently, Nintendo's launching a built-in social media app for the Switch 2 called Vidmeo. I don't want to share too much in how I got this information because it could lead to someone getting into serious trouble. Essentially, this will be what's similar to what the Miiverse was on the Wii U. That would be great, okay? That would be nice. Users can share screen-recorded content and make posts. I haven't seen it, but apparently the app icon looks similar to that of a YouTube, but it's green. Okay. The app is designed in the style of TikTok, apparently, with a lot of vertical scrolling to view content. Yes, I'm serious, lol. There'll be a direct messaging feature and community option for a feeling of social connection. I also have been told that the C button is related to the community feature of this app. That's all I really know about this thing so far, but supposedly Vidmeo will be available day one for the Switch 2 with a stripped-down mobile phone version releasing sometime later. Again, I don't know. And there's, like, apparently 2 different sources that have made the mention of Vidmeo, the app, so you got that. But again, there's no guarantees. In this one, they say in one screenshot, there is a pointer that's being used to select Mario Kart 8. So I assume the Joy-Cons may have pointer controls. And then, yes, a few devs have had limited access. So I've been able to see images. First off, the OS is basically a modernized Wii U menu. It has 10 row tiles on display at once, which is a big upgrade from the original Switch. Animated backgrounds and menu music return. Hell yeah, brother. I only saw the dark mode, by the way. Okay. You can tint your icons to change the color of them. All black and red goes hard. Surprisingly, Vidmeo is a legit application on the UI. I was skeptical at first, but it does seem to be real. No one's able to test any of the button applications outside of the Nintendo eShop. Apparently, it gets stuck on the loading screen. The loading screen reminds me of something from Nickelodeon, lol. There are 6 tabs on the UI as well. I assume you can have 60 games on the home screen at once because of how it's designed. You can quickly scroll through your entire library. I'm genuinely happy with the layout of the UI. It fixes all the issues when it comes to finding your games. It basically solved the problem by going back to what the Wii U and 3DS did, but whatever. And they say also, your username is displayed at the top left of the screen next to your profile picture. It doesn't look like the OS allows multiple accounts at once, so I assume there will be a login feature. That's about it. If I'm able to, I will try to get images and share with the mods for verified proof. But this OS is genuinely an upgrade over the original Switch. Like I said, it looks like a modern Wii U and 3DS menu mixed with iOS and Samsung. Actually sounds pretty neat, I'm not gonna lie. But that kind of brings us back to that post we're looking at, right, of all the stuff. So again, revamped Switch OS, animated backgrounds, and Vimeo to make posts with screenshots and videos and DMs. Do you think it'll be a success? And they say, how about this? Fancy using a Joy-Con as a mouse. So there has been a rumored thing that there is a sort of a laser pointer-esque thing like you have on your mouse on the actual new Joy-Cons, and that it might be usable. Like, again, it's just a rumor, it's not confirmed, that it might be usable literally like an actual, mouse of sorts, similar to what you can do with like the Lenovo Legion Go right here. Now, if you guys don't know, I'm going to show you right here. If you take the actual like controller off on the like Lenovo Legion Go, if I can do it right now, because it's always a little uncomfortable to get this thing off. I'm not going to lie, but basically, if you do take it off here, I really hope this thing is not on right now. But basically, if you take it off, you can right down the bottom here. There's like a little switch you can pull, and if you pull that switch, you can put it in. You can put it inside of a little puck and use this thing like an actual like mouse. Of course, I'm not going to be trying to get these things out right now. I don't like to take them off because I don't tend to do that. But it is an option that's there. Except I already have a computer, so I don't really necessarily have to use that. But it's a cool feature. I like it as a feature, and I think it could be really useful if the Switch has expanded capabilities. It would be nice to have something like that. By the way, also, how about games? Well, apparently for Metroid Prime, Pokemon, and Mario, Gotham Knights might be coming to Switch 2. This is reported by Video Game Chronicles website. So apparently, yeah, Gotham Knights could be coming to Nintendo Switch 2, according to a developer resume. Okay. Then we go on and say, well, that's way too many leaks. Quick break. And then I guess just promoting themselves here. And they go on and say, so how about some real pictures? Well, these are from the CES. So yes, these are actual images of attachments that will be made for the Switch 2. And then here, then Amazon Japan went a step ahead and revealed the Switch 2. These pictures are for the case, but still, also, if you know Japanese, could translate the images. So apparently, this is supposed to be a case for the Switch 2, again, showing what the Switch 2 would look like, which is, again, crazy, but here it is. Then also here, we have, how can you forget the controllers? And it's a Pro controller, which these look sick, by the way. I'm going to be real. These look sick, bro. They move on then and say, also, I wonder how it compares to a Steam Deck. Look no further. Well, the Switch 2 has NVIDIA Ampere, and then Steam Deck uses AMD RDNA 2. The shader cores for the Switch 2 would be 1,536 CUDA cores, with the Steam Deck having 512 cores and 8 compute units, whereas the other one uses 12 SMs. Then you have ray tracing cores, 12 ray tracing cores, versus the 8 ray tracing cores on the Switch 2. So the Switch 2 would be faster than the Steam Deck. Also, AI and tensor cores, apparently 48 tensor cores on the Switch 2, none on the Steam Deck. Again, I'm wondering which Steam Deck they're referring to here, because I don't know if there's much of a difference in terms of performance between an OLED and an OLED Steam Deck and a Steam Deck like regular, like a LCD like regular one. I don't know if there's a difference. I will tell you that this thing runs way faster than a Steam Deck, like drastically better. Like there is a big difference between this versus, and like same thing with like the ROG Ally Z1 Extreme, because it uses the Z1 Extreme chip. So there's a big difference between those. However, here's where like it changes up a little bit. So the Switch 2 uses 12 gigs of LPDDR5X memory. It's 128-bit, 120 gigabytes per second, 7,500 megatransfers per second, versus the Steam Deck, which uses 16 gigs, but it uses the not the non-X version of DDR5 RAM memory, I guess in this case, and its transfer speed is slower. So there is an upgrade in one sense, but you're getting less overall memory with the Switch 2, but faster overall speed as opposed to the Steam Deck. So I don't know. I don't think it makes that much of a difference in a sense, because if you really think about it, the Steam Deck has to kind of operate other stuff as well. Like if you're running it, you have like other things operating as well. But if you're running the Switch 2 mainly as just a play device, 12 gigs should get you there, at least on most games. I do feel like 16 gigs would have been better, but I digress. And then apparently the CPU is a Cortex A78C versus the AMD Zen 2 4-core 8-thread, CPU that you have on the Steam Deck. So again, it is relatively better, definitely with the shaders, like shader cores. You have way more going on here, like almost triple the amount. But we'll see how it turns out. I always felt like AMD is way better at handheld stuff than NVIDIA, but the architecture for AMD is generally better in that regard. That's coming from a guy that's rolling with a nice big old RTX actually at this point, RTX 4080. But it's besides the point. Point is, I really hope that we get more than what's being shown here. But if this is what we get, we should be seeing the Switch 2 running drastically better than this thing, like obviously, but also it should be running like good enough that it should be better and faster than the Steam Deck, which is good because the Steam Deck to begin with can play a lot of games, okay? Like the Steam Deck on its own is able to play a staggering amount of games. Like if you just go to the Steam page and you go to the Steam Deck page and it shows you some of the games that are like actually playable on it, you could play Spider-Man Remastered on that thing. You can play Slay the Spire, Deep Rock Galactic, Balatro. Okay, of course that one's not that crazy. Monster Hunter World. That's another one. Baldur's Gate 3 is playable. It's not perfect, but it's playable, okay? It's actually playable on the thing. Otherwise, they wouldn't recommend it. Persona 5 Royal, that's another one. Fallout 4, Cyberpunk. I play Cyberpunk on this bad boy right here. I don't know, performance-wise, what the difference is going to be between a Lenovo Legion Go and a a Switch 2. It's hard to say these names, man, because there's just so much, so many names to remember. But, I don't know what the difference in power is going to be between the, Lenovo Legion Go and a Switch 2, but the mere fact that I can play Cyberpunk on this thing. Cyberpunk, think about that, okay? Cyberpunk, I can play it on this thing. It's not perfect always, and I do need to keep plugged in for battery reasons, but I can still play it, and that's crazy on its own. Fallout 4 is another one. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, that's another one. Skyrim, I think you can already play Skyrim on the regular Switch. I think, I don't remember. Diablo 4, Warframe, Elden Ring, out of all things. You know what I mean? Hogwarts Legacy, that's another thing you can play on your Steam Deck. So I'm hoping that this beefed up, performance is going to be used, because it is a beef up, okay? It is a beef up. Ray tracing cores, you have 4 more. You have triple the CUDA cores. You have, less memory, but better memory and faster memory across the board. It is a drastic difference between 5,500 megatransfers versus 7,500. That's 2,000 megatransfers more, and that makes a difference. And same thing in the regards to everything else. 48 tensor cores on the AI side of things, that doesn't even exist on the Steam Deck, so you got that as another advantage. So we'll see how it turns out. And finally, here's a 3D render of the Switch 2. I don't know who made this. I really want to credit the right person, but I don't know who made this. It could be CardNL. I'm not sure. Shout out to my boy, though, if he did make that. I'm not sure. I think he did make CardNL, by the way. I think made this. I'm not sure, though, because these people didn't really credit it, so yeah. But nonetheless, though, that pretty much summarizes that, and I think the only real things we have, at this point left to talk about is that there was this post by someone made saying that the Nintendo Switch 2 is already up for pre-orders at 2 European stores, and Nintendo still haven't announced the console yet. Absolutely embarrassing. April 3rd, €450. But Necro Felipe said fake to this. And people asked, what are the chances of Nintendo Switch announcing a standalone dock that provides more power to the Switch 2 than a regular one? 0, apparently, so don't expect that. But apparently this post was fake, so just wanted to put that out there so you guys know. But ladies and gentlemen, it's exciting times. We might have the actual release date of Legends EA, and the Switch 2 might be actually revealed next week. Hopefully. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm excited. I'm ready. I hope you guys like these daily uploads. I love being back to doing this again. It's been a while, and I'm back in that hype mode and hype mindset of just getting videos out for you guys daily. So, hope you enjoy it. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace out, and bye-bye, ladies and gents.